A lot of people may be confused about the relationship between the Trump people and Russia. It would, for a lot of old people, old timers especially, has to be confusing, especially if you took a break from geopolitics for a while. This has to be confusing, given that, of course, at one time Russia, as part of the Soviet Union, was the arch enemy of the United States. But of course, things have changed quite a bit. Russia is no longer communist. It's more of a nationalist. The present government is more into nationalism, ethno-nationalism, and Slavic nationalism. Of course, they probably still have a lot of communist influences. Vladimir Putin, for example, was a successful person in the Soviet intelligence apparatus. But the present government there is, it's not the old Communist Party, it's a new nationalist group. And these nationalists in Russia have been very friendly toward white nationalists in the West, including the United States. And they've even had a conference for white nationalists in Russia, which was, I believe, sponsored by the Russian government. And also it's fairly well known that the Russian government has been very active with right-wing parties in Europe in the sense of helping them to get elected, just as they apparently helped Donald Trump to get elected here in the United States. So you have this problem here with a nationalist Russia. A lot different than the old communist Russia. And that's where the confusion probably would come in for a lot of people. Because with this new Russia, there's a lot of appeal to groups like of course, the alt-right, which is very friendly, to say the least, to news outlets like Breitbart, where you had Steve Bannon, who worked there as the editor, and he was the overall CEO, I believe. And with Russia, this new Russia, you get a lot different reaction from people on the right. And with Donald Trump, a lot of his supporters are right-wing people. Even though he will occasionally not really disown them so much, or barely disown them when forced, he nevertheless is always using those dog whistles, those sort of not just below the surface type of appeals to these same groups. And of course, not to mention that he appointed Steve Bannon as his chief advisor, really, and he put him on the National Security Council. So it's surprising, but it's not really that surprising that you have all these connections between his people, including people now in his government, and himself with Russia, because they see eye to eye on a lot of things with regard particularly to the ideology, really, of ethno-nationalism, white nationalism, and there's this hostility toward the global economy, really, and towards more of an isolationist type of viewpoint, because they want to protect not only their race, their culture, but they want to protect this authoritarian type of government that they believe is necessary to provide the security they need to promote their ideology. So with guys like Sessions and a lot of these other people, they lied under oath during their hearings, and they were doing things that, you know, you wouldn't have expected anyone to have done, especially in the environment where there was already accusations out there about Russian meddling in the election, but they were still having these contacts with Russian government officials, either during the campaign or before the inauguration. And in a number of cases, they lied about it, you know, either to the press or to Congress during their nomination hearings. So yeah, this really unusual situation we're in right now, one that likely is jeopardizing U.S. security, national security.